Yeah, so this session is thinking about joining the Herefordshire Business Awards. We're in our 9th year this year, and the interactive session is designed to help you approach your submission with confidence, to gain practical tips, clarity on the judging process, and a chance to ask your own questions about applying for 2026 awards. We also have a couple of award winners in the room who I've asked to come along to also share, alongside what the judges are looking for, how it feels to be on the other side and actually win an award. And you're welcome to ask any questions. What I would say is we can also use this as a bit of a networking opportunity. So feel free to say hello in the chat box to let us know who you are, where you're from, and maybe what category you're considering that you're going to enter, which might be interesting because we have 17 categories that you can enter, which you may or may not know. But firstly, I think without further ado, it's a good chance for us to get inside the minds of the judges, shall we say, dun, 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 and find out from their perspective what really makes an award-winning business. And I'm going to ask each judge to do a quick intro to who they are and maybe what's the most memorable entry you've ever seen and why. So firstly, can I come to you, Charlotte? So Charlotte is a skills growth lead at Synam and our head judge. And can we kick off with you? I've told you who they are, but feel free. Here we go. Stage is yours.
Yes, hello everybody. Lovely to see some of you on the screen. I have to scroll across to see the others. And thank you for joining us. Brilliant that it's on its 9th year and lovely to continue to be judging. So it's a real privilege to be asked back. I'm skills growth lead at Synam. I'm part of the largest cyber cluster in the UK, and my job is to work with security, defence and digi-tech firms and help them to grow and to succeed, and work with future founders and young entrepreneurs and a future talent pipeline. So that's a bit about what I do on a day-to-day basis. I also cover the whole of the southwest region, from Cornwall across to Dorset and all the way up to Gloucestershire, and spend a lot of time on the road, and also represent the cyber sector in Houses of Parliament, Houses of Lords, and on various different roundtables and groups. So for some reason they asked me back, so that's quite nice. What do I look for with regards to the various categories that enter the awards? Something unique, something different, something interesting, exciting, that has a passion and a flair, and all of that backed up with some brilliant evidence and testimonials, if needs be, about why their business is as good as they believe that it to be. The only difference to that would be, have we got, no, I haven't looked at this is really bad. I haven't looked at the different categories. Have we got an Employee of the Year again this year? Yes. Okay, good. Okay, so that is always historically one of those ones that doesn't get an awful lot of nominations, and I'm always struggling to know why, because if you've got amazing people working for you, and you wouldn't be paying them unless they were amazing and you believed and you trusted in them, why you wouldn't put them forward for a nomination? So if you've got somebody good, then nominate them, and we'd love to see more of those applications coming in. Most memorable one was probably really right back, probably one of the first or second years that we did it, which was, and they probably changed the name of their business, which was BBR Optometry, and he won the overall award because something slightly different, really important local business in retail, which was brilliant to see as well. So it wasn't just a manufacturing or engineering firm or hospitality. But this guy was a trailblazer and was impacting the vision of people globally, and was part of international research. In fact, I phoned him up to talk to him about his nominations application. And I was speaking to him in Thailand at the time, where he was attending a conference to talk about the loss of sight by kids using screens and mobile phones at nighttime, and affecting their eyesight for the future. So, I mean, what's that? 6, 7, 8 years ago now. So just shows, we're all still talking about the same subject, but a real amazing leader in his field, globally recognized, and he is based in Herefordshire doing the most amazing work. And I think that's what we keep finding, is this hidden talent, so busy doing business that it doesn't have the opportunity to shout about itself. So if you've got something to shout about, this is a really brilliant launch platform for you then to go on to other awards. Gives you the confidence, gives you the competence, gives you a pat on the back, and is something for you to be able to shout about. So why wouldn't you?
Absolutely. Thank you, Charlotte. Absolutely. Moving on swiftly then, John, I've got you in my screen next, so I'm going to come to you. This is John Finch, Managing Director of John Finch Computers, and I'll let him unmute himself and tell you all about his position as a judge with us.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Nice to see you again. I've been a judge now. I think this is the second year, isn't it? I'm sure it's second year. And I think it's fantastic. It's great to be able to recognize local talent, and to repeat what Charlotte said in terms of hidden talent within Herefordshire. Getting people to actually put themselves forward for these awards, I think, is probably one of the most challenging things, because people very rarely look back and think, what have I achieved? They don't celebrate the mini wins. And I think it's really important to look back and think, okay, well, there's a lot of categories to go for. Which one speaks to me? Which one really does align with what we've achieved over the last year or 2 years or 5 years, depending on how far back we're looking. And I think it's a great opportunity to really look and cherish the time that you've spent with the organization. That might be, again, employer of the year, looking at what you've achieved, business of the year, employees, as you said, Charlotte, really low last year in terms of getting people to put themselves forward. If I'm looking back at what we saw last year, Sharon really stood out for me when Business Leader of the Year. That was a fantastic award. And I think that was a real surprise for her. And I've known Sharon a long time, and it was great to see her pick up that award and recognition. What are we looking for? What am I looking for? I suppose really a story. I'm looking for a background, a real insight into what that organization has achieved, what's important to them, how have they made an impact, not just to the staff that work for them, but for their clients, for the local area. That's a real key area for me in terms of what will it mean for that organization to win.
Brilliant. Thanks, John. And last but no way means least, we have Claire Sandbrook with us, who is Finance Director of AllPay. And AllPay are our Power by sponsors, and we love our working relationship with AllPay. So can I welcome Claire? Hi, Claire.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, we're very proud to be sponsors and be involved in Herefordshire Means Business. We have been for some time. So like you said, I'm the Finance Director here at AllPay, but have worked in two sort of significant sized businesses in Herefordshire. So what is now Avara Cargill before, and then AllPay. So I've been a judge for, this will be my third year. So it's been quite nice to see, because I felt like being a judge for a couple of years, you have the evolution of understanding about how things evolve. So I guess it's really interesting for me working in some of sort of a slightly larger organisation, that I don't have as much on the ground network understanding of all the fabulous businesses that are in Hereford. So on the application, it's very much tell me why you're good and tell me what you do, because we get about 130 applications. So to kind of do all your deep dive and your research through links and that can be, it's a lot of work to look at. So put your best foot forward, absolutely. Tell us everything you need us to know about your business. Assume we know nothing, because that really helps me, because John has been a business person in the area for a long time. Charlotte's got a lot of connections, and so they add more value, they add more colour to some of the applications because they understand the business and the context. So if you're a relatively new person like me, then that really helps me. Tell me about what makes you different. I think echoing what John said, you know, what's special? How do you drive kind of your business forward? What has tangible things that are kind of the results, you know, finance, thinking about results. How has your business grown and developed? It's always good to hear about how you're giving back as well. There's quite a few applications they talk about how they're contributing to different people, or, you know, some of them. One of them I remember from last year was around it was the dog grooming parlour, and actually training people and providing education and route paths in through the county. That one really stood out to me, about how the businesses are helping other businesses in the area as well. And I think there was a similar theme in the previous years, some of the businesses. So I think that's really, really important for me. Like Charlotte said, nominate your employees. The other thing we had noticed is that you might get nominated, but also take the time to put your application in yourself. Don't rely on the nomination. Actually tell us more, because the people that have nominated you have done a brilliant job by nominating you. They want to call you out. So help add support to their story by helping us understand a little bit more about the business that perhaps they wouldn't know.
I nearly forgot to unmute myself then. Perfect. And thank you, because that's a really great point about nomination. So you can nominate anybody for the awards, but it's really important, as you say, Claire, to make sure that if you get nominated, fill that application form in yourself, tell the story, as John said, and really put down the information of what you're doing. If I could I just move forward? So these are our judges for this year. They are our dream team, shall I say, and we as a team here at HMBiz let them get on with it. We manage the actual event and put everything together, but we do not have, we don't even look at the application forms. We don't see what comes in. That's down to the judges and at their discretion to work through them. Could I introduce Alistair Gibbs, please, who is here under duress, not duress, but I asked him if he would come and share, because Alistair historically has been a judge, but he's actually been an award winner. And I thought it might be interesting, before we dive into the judges, give them a chance to have a glass of water. Alistair, would you like to share a little bit about what it's like to be an award winner, and maybe your experience as a judge, but actually what's it like winning an award and what did it do for your business? Hang on, I need to unmute you. Can you unmute? Let's have a look. Ask to unmute, please. We cannot hear you. Try that. Is that working? Try again. All the best laid plans. Please unmute him. Ask to unmute. Try that. Does that work? Oh, Alistair, we'll try and work out how to unmute you and I'll come back to you. See if you can work that out for me. Okay, judges. I'm going to throw this open to all three of you. This could be interesting, but what are you really looking for? As much as each of you have touched on it, what are you really looking for? What makes an entry stand out for you? And what are the common mistakes that people make? And maybe what excites you as a judge? Who wants to go first?
John.
Did you throw that to me then, Charlotte?
Yes.
Okay. What excites me? Okay, growth excites me. Seeing an organization that might have entered or could have entered a micro category and now is into a small category, seeing the success, because ultimately growth is a sign of a success. That's a tongue twister, isn't it? And yeah, I love seeing that. I also love seeing how organizations work with other organizations as well, partnering up. I think that's so important, especially in Hereford, where we're quite special, aren't we? Everybody knows everybody. You know, I can't talk to one of our customers without thinking they know 20 of our other customers, and we're all connected in one way or the other. So I think when they partner up in order to meet a common goal or work on a large project, I think that's really good. Collaboration is important. But as I said in sort of the opening speech, a story. Yeah, I love to be taken on that story with you, to understand how the organization has developed. How has your company and team grown? How have you faced really difficult challenges that you weren't potentially expecting, and how did you overcome that challenge? So yeah, that's, to me, that's the really important bit. The devil is in the detail as well. You can't really give us too much information in these awards, and it's the ones that we really struggle with are the ones that haven't put much context in there and have sort of left some of that as open to interpretation. So yeah, if I could give any advice, it would be, do make it into a story. Format it really nicely with a start, middle, and an end, and tell us as much information as you can, to give us as much reason to shortlist you. So yeah, that would be my part.
Brilliant.
Claire, do you want to go next?
I was going to say, anything to add, Claire?
I think John's covered quite a bit of it, but yeah, definitely for me, yeah, telling us more of the story, the information, certainly. Some people can be a bit sensitive to entries written by AI. So actually, we like to hear you in your own words, because it does come across differently if it's being written by AI. I mean, there's an AI voice, and a few of the entries in previous years have kind of we've picked up on that judging. So we want to hear it from you, even if you have a little bit of assistance, but put it in your own words. And I think it is that collaboration piece in the county and the connections, and that really stands out for me. You know, the most difficult category we always have, I personally feel, is like the charity of the year, because they're all deserving. And so, you know, the more you can tell us about how you've interacted within Herefordshire, and also what it means to you, what the award would really mean to you if you won, as well. I think that would be another thing I would add.
Brilliant. Thank you. Have we got Alistair now?
We have.
Yeah.
Well, I've always been here.
Just with a voice.
Forever, yeah. It's really interesting to see actually how the current judges. I think I was actually judged with two of them, not John, obviously, because we voted him into becoming a judge. But a lot of the information remains similar. I think certainly from my point of view, it was initially, let's get under the skin. Let's find out some more information about these things. What the initial application said wasn't always necessarily what was the business was all about, and there was far more, because some of the entries were so skimpy, so thin on the ground, so thin on information, that we kind of ended up doing a bit more research, trying to find out more about them. So generally, people, again, in Herefordshire, we don't blow our own trumpets very well. We tend to be very subdued, very cool about all sorts of things, but we don't. Sometimes you just need to shout it out loud. I know certainly from our point of view, when having won actually a number of awards over the years, everyone has been a useful tool, if you like, to spread the word, get more business, spread the word about Hereford Means Business, spread the word about us as TPG Disabled Aids, to pick out individuals that want to do that little bit more, and also the standing of our business within the industry on a nationwide basis within our peers of what we've done. We still now have a trophy cabinet in the showroom, and we show off these things as best we can. We utilise that in email footers and all manner of different ways to make sure that people know about Herefordshire. The collaboration with other businesses is always an interesting one, because often people in Herefordshire think of the other businesses as being competition on their own doorstep, and that isn't really the case. Very often there's a common goal, and you need to develop marketplaces and develop relationships that ultimately benefit both. If they don't benefit both, obviously there's no benefit to doing it. But there's lots of ways in which you can do that, and sometimes it's with your suppliers rather than your direct competitors in the marketplace that you're talking about. So yeah, we've generally made good use of the awards, and it's taken us on to awards for nationwide type business awards, and the way in which we, I suppose, hold ourselves, and the way in which we look after the things that we do, and our customers always come first, especially in our particular industry, being elderly or disabled. And I often look around the room and I'm thinking, there's prospects here, so let's stay in touch. Well, actually, Kalita, I mean, you'll know, we do genuinely try and look after our customers, and I think that sometimes is difficult to portray in an entry form with limited space, but you can use the correct tools, if you like, to make sure that you do send that information properly. As a judge, you can only read "We're the best at everything we do" so often before it gets quite boring. You need to see that differentiator, and sometimes that is the personality behind the person that's writing it. We tend to, from my point of view, I encourage a lot of staff to get involved with other stuff. So whether they be scout leaders or community groups or other bits and pieces, and I do it myself. I often think I'm fortunate enough I can now give back to my community and do stuff as a volunteer, and that gives character and holds values throughout the whole of the business then. Because if they're nice people outside of work, they'll be nice people inside of work. So to portray that to a judge is quite difficult, I know, but it's worthwhile making the effort to try and do so.
Thank you. And I think from my experience, because historically I too was a judge many moons ago, I found it frustrating that people would say they're the best, but they would also say, here's an attachment, please look at my Facebook page, or please look at my LinkedIn profile, or please do that. And as you may have heard a little earlier, one of the judges said they're working on 130 plus applications. It is a lot of hard work, and we pride ourselves on the awards being independently judged. These people are giving their time, and they are spending that time going through the detail. But if you can't be bothered to put that detail in, unfortunately, you're not going to be a winner. You can have the most amazing business, but if you do not share them with that detail, they haven't got time to be searching through the internet and finding out what makes you the best. Put it to them, share that story, and absolutely they will then recognize you as a winning business. If you don't put the effort in, it's not going to happen. And I know that I, for one, absolutely pride ourselves on that. We don't say pay us 500 quid and we'll give you an award. It doesn't work like that. Even the blackmail route, we tried that. It didn't happen for me. So you need to please tell your story. It doesn't have to be perfect, but actually what's the standout elements, because it really makes a difference. Okay, Charlotte, what not to do? What makes you switch off and frustrates you in entries?
Copy paste if they're entering more than one category, and it's the same bland like you've just really highlighted, just have a look at. If you're entering, then you're entering for a reason, so your heart and soul, like Alistair has sort of intimated, should be in it. Otherwise, why bother? Know why you're entering, because actually one of us might need to call you up for some further information, some further detail, particularly if you're nominated for an award as well. There's nothing worse than when someone's received a nomination and either the person doesn't know, or then right. So if you're going to nominate your organisation and you might not be the decision maker, you do need to let that decision maker know as well, and get some sort of backing and some support. I don't know why you wouldn't, but it's good to let everybody know on the same page what you're doing. And if you are the decision maker, let your team know so that they can support you as well. So that's really, really important. Like I said, indifference is a real turn off for all of us, I think. And we have a range of different judges that come and support us as well. So we're the three main judges and the buck ends with us. But we also have judges that come in who sponsored a category, and it's important as well to think that we're all very different personalities with very different traits, very different histories and connections. And so just an assumption that we know your business and we know what it is that you do is of no value to us at that point. Even if you're the most well-known, it's really important that unique selling point, that uniqueness a bit like John has said about their story is really important to get over. That's about it, really, I think.
Brill, thank you. And that's a really valid point, which I hadn't actually mentioned, that we have these brilliant independent judges who look through the application forms. We have category sponsors who then join the judges on judging day, and the judges whittle it down to top 3, maybe 4, depending if they can't decide. And then that category sponsor comes in and aids them to make the decision on the final winner. So yeah, there's not just a bias there, if you like, as well. John, what makes you fight for a business in the judging room?
Oh gosh, that's a difficult one. So I think it comes back to what I sort of really like the look of when I'm reading an application. I think it was Claire that mentioned it about AI, using AI sparingly. If I can see that someone's put their heart and soul into the application and it hasn't just been dumped from ChatGPT or other AI tools are available, then yeah, I really want to fight for that, because I see, you can imagine in my industry, I see AI all day, every day. And yes, it has a use, but it's also for something as personal as an application for an awards. I think it's a really lazy way of doing it. So I want to see the realism in the application. That will make me fight for it. Also, if someone's proofread their application, always makes me recoil if I see it, an application that hasn't been, it's full of grammatical errors or typos, and they haven't even potentially put their email address in correctly. They've put a space in there and they've rushed it, because that tells me that that person isn't necessarily putting much care and effort into the application process. If it's formatted correctly and that the wording is right, then yeah, I will absolutely fight for it. And lastly, I suppose, heart, really. You can really feel a good application because it means something to them. They want it. They really do. They're really going for it. And as Alistair said, you've got to really fight for this and put the reasons on paper as to why you should be shortlisted and why you think you're worthy enough to win these prestigious awards. So yeah, if I see that in there, I will absolutely back them. But they've got to prove it. It's proof is in the pudding, and just say it, prove it. Give us the stats. The data speaks for itself. So if you've grown a percentage, back that up. And yeah, that's what we're looking for.
Brilliant, thank you. Claire, how about you? What separates finalists from winners for you?
Oh gosh, I think in some categories it's really, really tough. There's a very narrow margin in it. But it will be those that have taken you on the journey with them. You've understood what drove them to set the business up, how they've progressed, how they've grown, maybe the challenges they've overcome, and what that result means now, what they're planning to do in the future, and the value of being a winner, what that would represent to them as well. And there's a lot of value within being shortlisted, being a winner with it in the local community. Like Alistair said, what can that take them on to then do? So I think it can be very challenging in the judging room to pick a winner. There's lots of back and forth and lots of arguing, but in a good way, constructive. But those are the ones that really stand out. They've taken you on. You buy into them. You know their why. You're part of that, and that's what really makes a winner for me.
Brilliant, thank you. And there absolutely are, or in my experience, there were heated debates that happen in that judging room, and you need to be filled with substance of biscuits, coffee, and food to make sure that you don't get hangry and make it worse. I know that. So and also you made a valid point. If you're shortlisted and you're a finalist, maybe you didn't actually win the whole award, but just to be a finalist and be recognised is a great accolade. And sometimes I think we also forget that, oh, I didn't get the top spot. But actually, to be a finalist and be in that room and to be recognised as, you know, an award finalist is absolutely amazing. Brilliant. Thank you so much. I'm just thinking, for those of you who are on the call with us right now, maybe don't know about the categories, I'm going to do a quick run through and then I'm going to open up the floor, if that's okay with the judges, who could give me a nod to say, are you happy to have some questions from the floor, if there are any? If not, I do have some previous questions that people have asked me as well. But if anybody's sat there itching, thinking I've got something I really want to ask about my application, which, by the way, they open today, so you can enter from today. So we have New Business of the Year, Small Business of the Year, Medium to Large Business of the Year, Employer of the Year, Employee of the Year, Retailer of the Year, Customer Service Provider of the Year, Sustainable Business of the Year, Entrepreneur of the Year, Professional Services Business of the Year, Family Business of the Year, Creative Business of the Year, Business Leader of the Year, Innovator of the Year, Charity or Social Enterprise of the Year, and Food and Drink Producer of the Year, and that year being 2026, obviously. But there are our categories. They will be open today from the end of this call. But does anybody want to raise their hand and ask a question at all, or just unmute and pop on? Anybody got any that they'd like to ask? We shall wait in anticipation. Anyone? No one? I'm aware that Zoom is not being... Yes, you can. Hi, Ange. So we have our Charity of the Year ladies with us from Eli Memorial. Thank you, ladies. You can ask a question. Go away. Or go away, not go away. Fire ahead. Fire away.
It's lovely to hear what the judges are saying. And I've entered the awards, I don't know how many a times. I've been a finalist twice. But last year we became the Charity of the Year, which was 2025, which I never thought I should be telling my story like the judges have said. And I always felt that if I told my story, I'd be writing a book, because my story goes on for a long time when I lost Emma. And it's narrowing the facts to become the winner and understanding what I'm trying to create and do in Herefordshire. Not many people know about Eli, but I still find that if you aren't in any way affected by road death, you won't really know about Eli. And this was one of the reasons why I entered the awards, to raise the profile of what service we can do and increase our road safety programme for young people in Herefordshire. I find that how we've progressed is amazing. You know, I'm having to really pinch myself and think I'm really proud to be what I've done in the last 13 years for Herefordshire, and supporting families at the most horrendous time of their life. But it's really difficult putting that on paper sometimes, because you get swallowed into your own grief. So having to turn that around for this award last year, I really had to be brutal about my journey and understand and try and put the judges in my shoes at the very beginning, in the middle, and at the end, and what we're trying to achieve. I've never worked like that before, because I've always gone on my grief pattern. But the fact of it, how much it changed me, losing my only daughter in a road traffic crash, was really the key why I still live today and try and support families. So I had to really change how I did it. On the basis of growing, I still feel charities aren't really heard enough. It's great to be an award winner and being recognised, but I'm being truthful here. I really thought we would get more businesses approaching us to help us grow in the community, and that hasn't really happened. I'm always networking. I'm always advocating that Charity of the Year. Please, can you help us grow with our road safety programme or anything else that we can do? But I still find that very hard to come across. You know who I am. You are being chosen for our services in Herefordshire. But how do I break that barrier going forward into businesses? And that's why I'm struggling with to be, yes, we're a charity winner. And I'm so happy.
Yes.
How do we go into businesses now and say, look, we're Charity of the Year. How do you help us? And that's where, when I put that in my application, I want to create the driving change. I want to create young drivers for the future. If you're not into road safety, where do I go into other businesses to say, can you be Charity of the Year? Can you help us promote that? And that's where I get stuck. So any advice from the, you know, the judges, how do I create going forward from what I've just been given, which is gold to me, absolutely
Definitely.
gold.
Yes,
Because
definitely.
in Herefordshire, being standing out from a charity, with all the big charities around me, it was phenomenal. I cried, I had a standing ovation, and everybody knew how it felt in the room. But I just need some guidance now. Could you do that after a charity has won? What you could do for the charities for that year and really make them stand out for 12 months? That's what I'm asking.
Who
Do you want me to respond to that, Kalita?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, I think you've made a really valid point there, Angie, and take it on board completely. Some of the work that I do, which is very different to what you do, but it's still about developing and growing and making an impact, which is what you're sort of saying. You want to make that impact now you've got that recognition. I always ask myself when I'm putting an event on or an activity or whatever, it's got to be, so what? So why would somebody want to be associated with that? So you also have to put yourself into their shoes and think, why would, and I expect you already do that, but find some synergy with any business. So like you said about sons and daughters, siblings, family members, everybody normally has some sort of family involvement who works for a company or as a sole trader or self-employed. So it's about that connectivity and that relationship building. And it's not the best subject, is it, to talk about, but it's a huge reality. And I know that you made such an impact on that tiny bit of time that you had on Radio 2. You had the whole of the UK listening to you. So I think that actually as maybe a working piece that we could do moving forwards, Kalita, Rich and Kim, is that we could maybe work on how do we work with those specific organisations and do like an organisational needs analysis, how we can help them, which you probably already do, but maybe more specifically with Angie's as well, like how could we help her connect, how could we look at your challenges, like a smart piece of work, and see what we could do with that. But I mean, I can chat to you as well, Angie, about what we do differently and see if there's some synergy about there rather than talk about it on here. But I think, yeah, finding that common thread and that heartstring pulling as well a little bit, that emotional buy-in is really important. And I think that driver challenge work, that new stuff that you've been doing, is so important and will resonate, particularly with what's been going on with the news and the white papers and some government decisions that are going to be made about sole drivers and new qualified. It's really, really important that we sort of utilize that to your advantage for all the right reasons, not commercial reasons, but for all the right reasons. You see this, you could do this. You see that, this is how we do this. And that collaborative piece. And I think that you will find that be lots of industries that resonate. You've got to remember that lots of organizations have a CSR policy that they now will also need to provide evidence of as we move forward. The government will be delivering a paper on procurement policy. And the CSR part, if anybody wants to do any public work, any public sector work, their CSR piece is going to have to be really properly evidenced. What do you do? How much do you do? What proportion? What's the impact? And the impact is really important. So, them working with schools and you and college students and you and young adults and you and NEETs and you are really important. And we know that underrepresented groups, so NEETs, ADHD, neurodiverse, young white boys, other underrepresented groups will all be part of that need to work better together. So maybe there's something that we can work on as a county with that, perhaps. You've got to feel comfortable with it, haven't you? Because it's you, it's your brand.
Yeah. Thank you, Charlotte.
Charlotte.
And I think also,
and sorry,
I think as part of what Ange winning Charity of the Year, HMBiz has over the last couple of years actually kind of formulated a plan to try and support the charity winner. This is a really new thing. The first year we had March's Family Network, and obviously we had the Community Foundation last year. And Ange, this year, we as a team decided that as our charity winners of the year, as Ange and I will know that, and I'm just looking at the list of what we provide in terms of benefits that we can give as a business back to Ange's charity. Standard membership comes in at no cost. If they want to upgrade, it's just the difference between that. An agreement to do a raffle at some point throughout the year, so a financial benefit. And I'm not saying that we wouldn't just do one raffle, we might do two. We've already done one, our Easter event, and we're just trying to work out how many we can manage realistically, because we have to manage this. News like spotlight features, a charity of the year advertisement of their own events, social media posts and blogs, an Expo stand for free, a silver stand, half-page adverts in the Expo programme, conference programmes, to trying to help raise that profile, goodie bag inserts for free, conference free, conference tickets free, speaking slots at the For Women event, signature breakfast events, bring their banners and literature to breakfast and events if they choose to and want to, mail out to our database for the events, spotting opportunities to help you raise your profile, as you know, ladies. And at the awards, we're hoping that the charity sponsor this year will encourage you to help them to hand over their trophy. Now, that's not at my discretion, because obviously it's down to the sponsor of that category, but you thought it might be nice. You may well win it again, who knows, but whoever, we thought it'd be nice for that charity to hand over that baton, obviously to feature Eli on the charities page on our website and any other opportunity. So absolutely, we are trying to endeavour to support you in that. But maybe it is that we could offer maybe a one-to-one coaching session or something where we bring some ideas to that, as Charlotte has said as well. It is a collective, so there is that potential opportunity as well.
I you know, what you guys have done for us is absolutely amazing. You know, everything that you've offered us is just, I can't ask for anything more. It's how we now collaborate with the businesses that are in that room,
that ripple,
to really what is our next step. And that would be, I think it'd be really good from the judge's point of view, is how you extend what you think is really good about us, or any business that's won. Is there a sort of, I know we go back around the table and say, like, we're the winners. Is there anything there we can do to say, okay, what do you need now to be identified as a winner? Can we help promote that and collaborate with businesses that may just give you more business? You know, same as us with charity. It's just, it's great, but then I don't feel I need something more just to say, right, what do we do now? How do we use what we've got to the best of our advantage, and really shouting about it? And I think every charity that going forward would benefit from ongoing dialogue, and just to raise it, and just be outstanding for a year.
Yeah, Alistair's made a valid point. As a charity, it's been an award winner. My advice would be to rethink of yourself as a business would do. Think about sales and marketing as a real function. For example, all local authority tenders now include a section on social values to make your charity a mechanism to allow winning tenders to fulfil their social responsibility requirement by supporting you. Lisa, would you like to add a comment? Absolutely, please do.
Unmute myself. Hi, sorry. I just wanted to say that I don't really agree. So, and in a good way, we joined Hereford-based to meet up with other local companies, find a charity of the year, and I see and I hear Diane and Ange. I think what they do is absolutely brilliant. We have management meetings every 3 months and senior meetings every week. And every week I go in saying, I want them next year, that I see the amazing work that they do. I think they're incredible people, not only as a business owner, but as a mother of 5 children myself. And my daughter's been driving 2 years and she's still got her P plates on. And I think that's why we go there. They're who we're looking for. And I'm sure there's other people that feel the same. We can't be the only ones. But I'm not meant to tell anybody that they're meant to be our charity of the year next year, but I think I just did.
Yeah, if you want me to mute that, I'll cut you out. Let me know. But yeah, and you're quite right. So Ange, hopefully that gives you some hope that sometimes these discussions within the boardroom do take a 12 months to come to fruition, which I know is really not helpful for you right now. But you've got to keep raising that profile. You've got to keep showing up. You've got to keep selling that story. You've got to keep selling the benefits. And Lisa's just demonstrated the conversations are happening within her business that next year potentially you're going to be a charity of the year. So don't give up.
January, 100%. January.
So I think it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's taking time. And yes, okay, the awards are happening in October. So you have it. I can understand how the frustration must be, but also it takes time within businesses to make those agreements, and even, dare I say, the economic state of the world at the moment, everybody's pulling in their purses. The increase of NI, wage increase, minimum wage, all of those things are having an impact on businesses. Exactly. Fuel, all of that stuff. I know it's painful for a lot of us. So please do not lose faith, but absolutely keep doing what you do. It's amazing.
No, I'm not losing faith. I'm just trying to say how I feel at this moment in time, from being right out there, and people are still talking about us, and it's just keeping that momentum. I just need to marketing sort of like looking at my shout out different things, but it's just having that bit of structure to start with would really help us. And that's I think, just for ongoing support with other charities, is having a bit of structure. How do we utilize what we've just won, and how to stand out from the crowd for those that what you've just given us. I think it's so important. It's amazing.
Brilliant. Thank you. I'm just conscious of time, so sorry John, did you want to say something?
Yeah, no, sorry, just before we change subject with Angie. Angie, first of all, I absolutely get what you're saying, and I've seen you in a number of HMBiz meetings, but I don't think we've actually spoken face to face properly before. What I would say, and I'm not necessarily defending businesses, but businesses are incredibly busy. Really, really, really busy organisations. We've barely got time to do the things that we have to do, that we need to run a business, let alone to be able to reach out to organisations and think, oh yeah, who won the HMBiz award for the charity of the year last year? What I would say is use this 12 months, and you're only halfway through this 12-month period, so use this 12 months and reach out. That the HMBiz company owners is available, isn't it? Cleta, we've got that online, I think, and it's obviously after every meeting that's always distributed. Use that and reach out and do one-to-one targeting. So for instance, I would invite you to email me directly and say, John, as you know, we're the HMBiz Charity of the Year, would love to come up for a coffee just to tell you a bit about us and see if there is any synergy collaboration that we can do. You might not know, but we work with 60 schools in Herefordshire now. We're the biggest IT school provider in the county, and there might be something that we can do together. But it might also be we look at, okay, what can we give, not charge, but give to you as a charity to help support you, whether that's for 12 months, whether that's for the foreseeable, that would not necessarily cost a business much money, but they can provide it. And again, as Charlotte said, giving back. And that might be, you reach out for me for, I don't know, IT support or licensing with Microsoft licensing. You reach out to a marketing company that works closely with HMBiz for potentially support with that. And there's so many different areas in HMBiz. You support every sector, or every sector is linked to HMBiz, that they might be able to just have a conversation with you to say, okay, you're the charity of the year this year. We will help you this way. But I wouldn't wait for organizations to reach out to you. I would be really forthcoming and say, I'd love a coffee with you, either at your offices or meet in a coffee shop. I would never say no to that, and I think it's capitalizing on it and using that. We're the winners this year. I'd love a conversation with you. So yeah, please do reach out to me, and we'll have that coffee anyway if it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, and with GDPR and things like that, John, you do worry about just cold calling, but now it's changing GDPR, and you can reach out now and you can pick up the telephone, but it's just making sure that I don't bombard everybody. Look, I'm Charity of the Year. Can you help me in any way you can, or can we have a coffee? But it's just having that okay to do that. This is why you've been chosen, and the wonderful community group of Herefordshire Means Business, we're able to do that without feeling that we're not allowed to do that and not be in that awkward position, really. And it's great to hear that from you, and I think we'll capitalize on that, and not bombard everybody, but look at maybe who our help could be from. So that's really good. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, watch this space then, ladies. Hey, watch this space. Right, I've got a question from Mark Chester, who I know is on the call, but he's obviously out and about. Looks very exciting. I'm not quite sure what he's doing, but he was driving, I think, and now he's in his tree. He's in his element. So Mark asks, how long does the business need to have been operating for, and how much of its operations need to be in the county? So could one of the judges please pick that up for me? Charlotte, do you want to jump on that?
Yeah, it's 2 years if it's a new business. And I think that it's, we bandy this around, it is up to our discretion, but we are looking for active, positive business interaction within the county. So we have had over the years companies who are based just over the border, but due to their postcodes or to where they pay their council, their rates, or just the roads, the logistics, a lot of their work is done within the county. So we wouldn't want them to miss out if their main suppliers or their main contractors are in the county. So there is a little bit of judgment on that, but there's 3 of us to fight it out, hence why there's 3. So there has to be a decision, and it's normally very positive. So we don't necessarily want the Specsavers and Boots of this world. We want local independent businesses. But if you're making a huge impact locally and you're employing lots of people and your growth and you're successful, there's a story, then why wouldn't we consider you for that? So hopefully that's a good enough answer.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, just to rephrase that the business could be operating for a week, but are you going to have the evidence to demonstrate that you're an excellent business at that point? But if you're a startup, it has to be within 2 years to enter into that category. And absolutely, the judges have the ultimate discretion and say whatever they say goes. We don't get involved with that. So hopefully, does that answer your question, Mark? There's a nod. Thank you very much.
Good. Excellent.
It does affect. I'm a micro business, and because I operate in a niche sector, I am operating a lot across the Midlands, and I'm based in the county. I love the county.
Right.
And I'm exploring this because we're also doing a lot of education work with the startup. But I'm also about 10% of my work is in the county because I do offer a niche with limited demand in the county.
It's okay, Mark, because you just said that you're based here. But why apply because you're based here. But again, a lot of our successful businesses are huge exporters, not internationally, but into county, into region. So really important that we hear your voice. And love to hear your story and about the education piece. That would be brilliant to see. Yeah, perfect.
I've got to work out which category I do as well. So, but I'm really being encouraged this year.
Enter more than one.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any? Thank you, Mark, for that and for sending that question in. Does anybody else have any questions? I'm just aware time is ticking. So we're getting close to coming to a close. Does anybody have any burning questions that we haven't answered yet? I love that delay. What I am doing is I'm putting in the chat the Herefordshire Business Awards website. So if you want to look at the categories, if you want to nominate anyone, if you're going to enter, please enter. We love you to all enter. The link is there to the Herefordshire Business Awards, and I can officially say they are now open. Everybody raise your hands. Yay! Thank you, Alistair. I can see hands. Becky Button, thank you. So the awards are now open officially, and I'm hoping that you guys have found this session helpful. It's really important to us that we get that message across that actually we are independent. We do have an independent judging panel. We don't take backhanders. We cannot, if you take a membership with us, it's not going to guarantee that you're an award winner. Sorry. I cannot do that unless I blackmail the judges, and then I'm going to lose my job. So that's not going to happen either. But it's really important, and it's our ethos. It's shouting about Herefordshire businesses, building our community, supporting each other, connecting and collaborating. And the business awards are just one tiny part of what we do. So please enter, please share the love, please nominate. If you have any questions, we can field them to the judges, but they are business people. They are busy doing businessy stuff. So if you need an answer and you're desperate, please let us know. One thing we haven't talked about is people often ask, can we get feedback after the awards? And generally, the judges are gracious enough that if you weren't successful historically and you want to know why, they will give you that time. But please also bear in mind that we're all busy doing a million things, as John said, and sometimes life gets busy, so keep nagging us. Anyway, awards close Friday the 4th of September. That does not mean that you should not enter until the 3rd. Please enter earlier rather than later, because again, the judges are busy business people and they have to read these entries, and the sooner you get it in, the better. And you can have a cup of tea and relax and go, I know I'm a winner. So thank you so much for joining us. My clock is telling me it's 12:59. I'm going to close this call. What I am going to do is post this publicly. So most of our lunch and learns, you have to be a member, but we're going to put this out there publicly so everybody can see. It's not a scary procedure. Our judges are not scary people. They're amazing. They're lovely people. They do a great job. So thank you from the team to John, Claire and Charlotte. Thank you so much. Yes, Rich is giving you a round of applause. We really appreciate having such amazing people as part of our extended team. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Have a great Tuesday, and we shall see you all very soon. Take care. Bye.